Good people of Sicily, you are gathered here to judge me, Daedalus. I, Daedalus, the greatest inventor of the Greek world, the great scientist, the creative thinker. You accuse me of 5 things, and I am innocent. I have only done what I am instructed to do. You, good people of Sicily, decide whether I should be banished from your island, to leave forever and never return, or decide whether I should remain. I am ready to answer. I will tell my story true. What is your first accusation?
Have you ever committed a crime?
Who has number 1?
You made the monstrous Minotaur.
You say I made the monstrous Minotaur. I did not make the Minotaur. I will tell you the story. Many years ago, King Minos of Crete, I worked for him as his inventor, his builder, his architect. But King Minos was a tyrant, a cruel ruler, and he decided that he would sacrifice a bull to the great god Zeus to fix his place on the throne of Crete. And Zeus gave him a bull that came from the seas. It was a radiant, beautiful bull. And King Minos, when he saw the bull, he could not bring himself to slaughter it, to sacrifice it. So he kept that majestic beast. And he took an ordinary bull from the herds of Crete, and he sacrificed that one instead, and that made Zeus angry. That made the god angry, and he went to the goddess of love and desire, Aphrodite, and he asked her to help him. And Aphrodite, she looked down at Queen Pasiphae, King Minos' wife, and she put love and desire into her heart. And when Queen Pasiphae looked at that radiant bull from the seas, she loved that bull. She desired that bull. And Queen Pasiphae, she came to me and asked me to build an artificial cow. Well, I am a great craftsman, and I built that cow, and she climbed inside, so the bull would desire her. And I tell you, 9 months later, she did not give birth to a child. She gave birth to a monster, half man, half bull, with already horns growing from its head. It was terrible. King Minos was ashamed. He already had 2 fine children, Androgeus, the athlete, beautiful, kind Ariadne, his daughter. But now Minos had a monster as his child. I did not create the Minotaur. All I did was make that costume cow. I am not guilty. Do not judge me for this. Who has the second accusation written down?
You imprisoned the Minotaur.
I imprisoned the Minotaur? Well, that was the task that I was given by King Minos. So ashamed was he of this monstrous beast. It was so sad, dejected. It moaned and wailed. All it would eat was meat. We hunted birds for it to devour. But King Minos said the monster must be hidden away. So So he asked me to build a labyrinth, a maze under the ground, so huge and complex that none who entered would find their way out again. It was a hard task. For many years I worked with many slaves. We dug that maze into the ground, deep, dark passages. By the time it was complete, I was the only one who knew my way through. All else would surely die in the labyrinth. And there the Minotaur was imprisoned in the deepest, darkest passageways. And there it wailed and mourned and devoured the birds, but already it was growing large. Birds were no longer enough. Yes, I built the labyrinth, but King Minos, it was his decision to imprison the Minotaur, not mine. Who has the third accusation?
You killed the Minotaur.
I did not kill the Minotaur. You are wrong. Good people of Sicily, listen, and you will understand my story. King Minos, ashamed of that beast, he sent his good son, his athletic son, Androgeus, to compete far across the sea in the games at Athens, where King Aegeus ruled. Well, Androgeus, he entered every competition. The throwing of the javelin, the discus, the jump, the sprint, in every competition that Androgeus entered, he was the victor. And at the end of those games, Androgeus came before King Aegeus to receive his prize. But instead, King Aegeus had him murdered. He was ashamed that no Athenian had won. And so King Minos, king of Crete, sent a fleet of ships to do battle against Athens. And the warriors were mighty. And as I told you, King Minos was a fierce tyrant. And he fought for 10 long years against the armies of Athens until he laid Athens low and King Aegeus surrendered. Then, said King Minos, you must pay me a tribute. Every year, send 7 of your finest young men and women. Send them in a ship to Crete, and they will be devoured by the Minotaur in the labyrinth. King Aegeus could not refuse. These young people sailed on their ship. They were put into the labyrinth, and there they wandered until they were discovered by that wild creature, half man, half bull, already grown, no longer with an appetite for the flesh of birds, but for the flesh of humans. And the Minotaur devoured them. And a second year, 7 more were sent as tribute from Athens. The 3rd year came, and King Aegeus, his son, the fine warrior, Theseus, noble and brave, said, Father, this cannot continue. I will go. I will destroy the Minotaur with my sword. Do not go, my son, King Aegeus. You will die. I will return victorious in the name of Athens. Father, permit me. Then said King Aegeus, Theseus, if you sail, sail with black sails of mourning on the ship. But when you return, hoist a white sail, so I know you are safe. If I see a black sail on the ship, I will know that you have been devoured by the beast. Go with my blessings. Theseus, brave young warrior, sailed with 3 young men and 3 young women from Athens, and across the sea in that billowing black-sailed ship they came to the shores of Crete. But before King Minos could greet them, Theseus leapt onto the shore, and there he encountered the beautiful, kind daughter of King Minos, Ariadne. And she loved him. He fell in love with her. Show me how I can find the Minotaur. It is impossible, she said. If you enter the labyrinth, you will never leave. But she loved him, and she said, I will show you how to destroy the Minotaur and to escape, if you promise to take me to Athens as your wife. It is promised. And Ariadne told her story to Theseus. That beast is my half-brother. His life is so tragic, so sad. I wish he could leave this world and die. I asked Daedelus, that is me, who made the labyrinth, to show me how I could find my half-brother, so that I could be kind and loving to him. And Daedalus, in his wisdom, showed me a ball of thread, and I attached one end of the ball of thread to the lintel of the door at the entrance to the labyrinth. And there I rolled that ball of thread before me, and down the passageways it rolled, turning, twisting left and right into the dark, dankest places. And then I heard the roaring, the wild cries of the beast. And he came to devour me with his pointed horns and his great bellow. But I pacified him. I spoke to him gentle words. I cradled his monstrous head in my arms. I kissed him, and he wailed and wept. And then I followed the thread away. And so sorry I am for my half-brother. It would be a release for him to die. Good Theseus, brave Theseus, destroy my half-brother and take me as your wife. Show me, said Theseus. And they went to the entrance to the labyrinth, and there he tied the thread, and with the ball he rolled it before him. Down dark passageway, Theseus followed that thread, twisting and turning into the darkest, dankest places of that labyrinth that I had created, until he heard the roaring of the beast below. And from the darkness, the Minotaur charged him, with his horns pointing, and a great bellowing cry. But Theseus, fine warrior, took his sword and leapt to the side. And as the beast came past, he slashed at the Minotaur. But the Minotaur turned and charged him once more, and Theseus leaped out of the way, and then turning, brought his sword. And through the heart of the Minotaur it was plunged, and the Minotaur fell dead. Theseus, following the thread that he brought him there, he returned through the dark passageways, twisting and turning, and out of the labyrinth to be greeted by Ariadne. It was still night. Take me with you now as your wife. And they climbed on board the ship, and with the 3 young men and the 3 young women not devoured, they sailed away from the shores. Great wind blew, and they were stranded on a small island called Naxos. And there Ariadne and Theseus lay and embraced. During that night, one god from Mount Olympus, looking down, Dionysus, saw this pair, and he loved Ariadne for her kindness and beauty, and he put a spell on Theseus. So in the morning, all was calm, and he forgot about his love, Ariadne, and he climbed on the ship, and he sailed away, forgetting her, and also forgetting to change the black sail. And there on the cliff top in Athens, King Aegeus waited and watched. Would his fine prince son Theseus return from his quest? And what did he see? A black sail hoisted. Oh, and King Aegeus, heartbroken, Theseus is killed. destroyed by the monster. He threw himself from the cliff and down into the water below. And there, King Aegeus drowned. What sorrow for the brave warrior Theseus. I did not kill the Minotaur. I only showed Ariadne how to find the Minotaur and return. It is not my fault. I am innocent of that charge. I am Daedelus, the inventor, the creative thinker, the architect. I am not a cruel man, not like Minos. I only did as I was instructed to do. What is the fourth accusation written?
You killed your own son.
My good son, Icarus. He died too young. But do not accuse me of this. It was not my fault. In rage, King Minos put me imprisoned into the labyrinth so that I could never leave. He said it was my fault that Theseus had killed the Minotaur, that Ariadne had left. He blamed me in blind rage. He put my son, Icarus, into the labyrinth with me, there to starve. There was nothing to eat. Having designed the labyrinth, I knew another way out, not to the land, but to the sky. And with Icarus, we went and gathered all the feathers from the birds that the Minotaur had devoured over those many years. And those feathers, threaded them together. And I made 2 pairs of wings. Huge wings. It took time. And I used my skill. On the tips of the wings, I put small feathers which I fixed with wax. And the wax hardened. And now I put 1 pair of wings onto my son Icarus' back, and the other pair on my own shoulders. So fine. Icarus, my son, listen. Listen closely to what I tell you. We are going to be the first mortal men to fly. We will fly out from the labyrinth into the blue sky above and away from Crete. We will live again. But no man has done this before, and there is great peril, my son. If we are to escape from Crete, then you must do exactly as I say. Follow me close, Icarus. Do not vary from the path. Do not swoop down to the waves below. If the feathers are wet, they will not carry. Do not soar high to the sun, for the sun will melt the wax on the wingtips, and you will plunge to your death. Follow me close, my son. Oh, father, said Icarus. Of course, Daedalus, I'll do as you say, but let us fly. Let us fly. Let us fly. And out from the labyrinth, we flew up into the blue sky. The first men with wings, and across the ocean, away from the cliff tops, and there from the sea below, I could hear the fishermen crying, "Look, 2 gods fly above." They believed we were gods, and so we felt like gods. The power of flight. Wonderful. Stay close, Icarus, and away across the seas and towards other islands, passing each one, flying on and on. It took power. On we flew. We were tiring, but on we flew. A small island approaching. Perhaps we should land. I turned. Icarus was gone. I circled around. I swooped down to the waves below. And there were the small feather wingtips from his wings floating in the waves. And as I beat my wings and hovered there, I saw my child's own dead body drown, floating to the surface. He had flown too close to the sun. The wax had melted and he had plunged and drowned. I gathered up his body, and with the last of my strength, I beat my wings and carried him to that small island, and there I buried him. And when I flew on, I left him on that small island, still known as the island of Icarus, the island called Icaria. And on I flew until I landed here on this great island of Sicily. Good people of Sicily, do not judge me. I did not kill my son. I wanted our escape. The foolish boy did not listen. In his eagerness to enjoy the power of flight, he flew too high. Never fly too high. Is there a fifth accusation?
You murdered King Minos.
Did you say I murdered King Minos? I told you King Minos was a tyrant. He began the war on Athens. It was his fault keeping that majestic bull that his wife gave birth to a monster. He was furious when he discovered that I had escaped with Icarus. He brought a fleet of ships after me, sailing in it himself. And on his ship, he carried a Triton shell. Every island he came to, he searched for me. But Minos was no fool. He knew that no one other than I, Daedalus, could complete the task he set. In every island, he said, "Can you thread this Triton shell so the thread goes in one end and out the other?" Many tried, but all failed. They did not have the skill. Finally, he came to the shore. "I offer a great reward to anyone who can thread the Triton shell." And good King Daedelus here of Sicily, he stepped forward. "I will manage this task." You see, King Daedelus was protecting me here. He knew that I would have the skill, for I had many playthings for his daughter princesses. And he brought me the Triton shell. This was Minos' trick. I took the shell and was intrigued by the challenge. There was the thread, here was the shell. How could it be threaded? Do you know what I did? I cut the end off the shell like this. And then I smeared the end with sweet, sweet honey. I took the thread and I attached it to a strand of gossamer, so fine. I fixed the end of the gossamer, fastened it to the leg of an ant. And I put the ant inside the shell. The ant went through the Triton shell, chamber by chamber, narrower and narrower. The ant could sense the sweet honey. And when it came to that hole, and the ant found the honey, I pulled that gossamer thread through gently, and the larger thread came through behind. King Daedelus, I have threaded the Triton shell. Show it to King Minos and get your reward, but do not tell him I am here. King Coculus showed it to Minos. Give me my reward. Your reward. Your reward will be death, unless you bring me Daedalus. I know he must be here. None other could solve the puzzle. King Minos, I will bring you Daedalus. Tomorrow, good King Minos, but here rest, sleep, have a bath. Well, when I found out that I was to be handed over to King Minos, I knew that I would be dead. So I looked for his daughters, King Coculus's princesses, for whom I had made many playthings. I said, please help me. We must kill King Minos. You will do it, and I will make piping. And I made an arrangement of pipes. And the pipes ended above the bath. When King Minos is in the bath, pour through the pipes boiling water. King Minos undressed and got into his bath and lay back. And the daughters of King Coculus poured boiling water through those pipes, and the water scalded King Minos to death. He deserved it. He was a tyrant. I did not murder King Minos. I merely provided the piping. In any case, he deserved to die, didn't he? You have listened to the 5 charges. You have listened to the 5 stories that I have told you to explain what I did. And you see that I am an innocent man. I am an inventor, a thinker, a creator. But I am not a murderer. I did not create the Minotaur. I did not imprison the Minotaur. I did not kill that monstrous Minotaur. I did not kill my good son, Icarus. I did not murder King Minos. Good people. King Coculus, your daughters, the princesses, citizens of Sicily, you must decide whether I can remain here on Sicily, or whether I must be banished and leave and never return. You must decide. Ask yourselves. Ask the person next to you. How will you vote? To banish Daedalus, or to let Daedalus remain? And give your reasons to vote. I am an innocent man. Allow me to remain here on Sicily. Raise your hands if you say that I should be banished and leave and never return. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Put your hands down. Raise your hands if you say, I can remain here. I will help you. I will invent things. Thank you, good people of Sicily. Thank you. I can remain in Sicily. All is...
Talos.
What did you say?
You murdered Talos.
Talos. My student. Talos. What do you...
Many years ago, before you even went to Crete, you were banished from Athens because you were guilty of murdering your student Talos.
I didn't
He
kill...
was just 12 years old.
But he...
You were jealous of him because he was even greater inventor than you. Talos invented the sword. Talos invented the potter's wheel. It was Talos who invented compasses for drawing perfect circles.
Well, he was a child.
And you told everyone that these were your inventions. In a fit of jealousy, you took Talos up to the Acropolis at the edge of the high cliff above Athens, saying that you were going to show him the sights.
I was.
But you pushed him
He fell.
to his death. Then you put his dead body in a sack to get rid of it. You were carrying Talos' body away from Athens when you were caught. Daedelus, you are a murderer. You are banished.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you.